everyone, and welcome back to Baron's Den for another star player ups and downs. And it's one of the poster boys of Blood Bowl. The dude has been kicking around for as long as I've played the game and longer. I've used him as a cardboard cutout. I've used him as various different trolls. It's none other than Ripper Bolgrot, the thinking man's troll. Yes, Ripper is here. I think in various editions he's been anywhere between good to outstanding. Let's see where he lands in Blood Bowl Season 3. So, to begin with, we're looking at a troll who's movement 5. Now, I was tempted to give him an up for that, but actually, for a big guy, 5 is just average, isn't it? So I decided not to for that. But strength 6, I'm not just giving him 1 up, I'm giving him 2. This means he can one-on-one most big guys and take on a 2-die block, which is amazing. That strength also means it's preventing other people from blocking him and getting him down. You know, they're going to have to do a lot of ganging up to get a profitable block on Ripper Bolgrot because of his pure strength. However, that does bring me to one of the downs for Ripper, and that is his agility. Now, you might think, well, he doesn't need agility because he's a strength 6 beast. But there are times where you might, if you had better agility, that you might be able to dodge away to pick up a friendly player, or they may have based you so you can't go after somebody else. There's times where Ripper will be glued to somebody that you wish you weren't. Somebody like me will stick a zombie next to him and keep him entertained for a few turns. So having that edge 5+, with other big guys when they're 4+, or they've got break tackle or something, it means that you can get them away. Whereas with Ripper, because you can't give him any extra skills, he's always going to be dodging on a 5+ at best, which means you're not going to do it. So we have to count it against him, although it's not a huge issue because he can, like I said, his primary goal isn't to be dodging, is it? He should only be doing it if you need to get him somewhere. So that brings me to passing 4+, which for somebody who's got throw teammate, that is brilliant. So we're going to give him an up for that. And you might be sitting there thinking, why are you giving 4+ passing? You don't normally. Well, that's because most of the players aren't throwing teammates. Throw teammates is mostly thrown by people with a passing of 5+ or even 6+ in the past, because it's always inaccurate, and as long as you don't fumble it, it's always going to go and land randomly. But of course, with a passing 4+, you've got a much better chance of having a superb pass. So yeah, really, really good. Armor 10+ is another up, because it just means that for a big guy, you could argue that that's average for a big guy, but there's plenty, such as the Rat Ogre and the Minotaur, that are only 9+. Who else is 9+? There's another big guy. Vargeist is 10+. Croxagor's 10+. Ogre's 10+. Who's the other big guy that's 9+? Minotaur? Or maybe it's the Rat Ogre I'm thinking of. But it's still on the right side of the armour that you want, so... And he's way better than your average player, so people are going to find it hard to remove Ripper. So yeah, up for the armour. Onto his skills. Bullseye. Whew, this is a definite up, because what Bullseye does is, if you do a superb throw, it means that the player you've thrown doesn't even scatter. So it's really good, Bullseye. It's going to help you do your throw teammate game, which Ripper is definitely into. So next up is Grab, which I'm giving him an up for, because Grab is a very useful skill, particularly on a high strength player who doesn't have any combat skills, because you might find yourself pushing a lot, which is fine because you can grab that person, send him along the line to somebody else who can hit him, or maybe you're just trying to position that person away from somebody else, or you might be running goblins and snotlings and you want to send him back into the melee to eventually get fouled. So Grab is really, really useful. Loner, we're not going to worry about. Mighty Blow is another up, because Mighty Blow is it's one of the best skills in the game. It's an elite skill. It affects the armor dice or the injury dice, and it can cause it can be it often is, isn't it, let's be honest, the difference between breaking through that armor or seeing that casualty converted into a, I don't know, like seeing that injury converted into a casualty. So great skill, and on somebody who's strength 6, who could be getting 3-die blocks quite easily, it's very scary. Regeneration is another up, because if somebody finally gets him down, and let's say they foul him and he gets an injury, he's got a 50% chance of just going straight back into the reserves, ready to come back on again later, which does make him very terrifying. One of the ways people mitigate some of these stars is they just decide to take them out as early as they can. And that's the problem with Ripper. You might take him out, and that might benefit you for that drive, but eventually there's a good chance he'll be coming back. Well, there's a 50% chance he'll be coming back. 8-1. It's going well for Ripper, isn't it? And it's going to go up again because he's got throw teammate, which isn't an amazing skill on its own. Plenty of big guys can do it. But when you've got a 4+ pass and you've got bullseye, it just means his throw teammate game is really, really solid. And the stunty teams in particular are going to massively benefit from that. But of course, even Orcs and Black Orcs, they're not stunty teams, but they run players who can be thrown. So, yeah, plenty of opportunity for Ripper to hurl little guys. Right, he plays for Badlands Brawl and Underworld Challenge, which, as you can see from the list here, that's quite a lot of teams, so I'm giving him another up. Plenty of different teams he can play for, and he's going to be a benefit to any of them. He's a literal upgrade on their existing big guys. To the players, he's particularly useful for the teams with stunties and with right stuff, so he can hurl those players down the pitch. But I'm even thinking a team like Skaven, if you need a big guy and you can't afford Morg, I mean Ripper's a pretty good bet. So yeah, I just think it's another benefit to him. And then his special rule: once per half, Ripper may re-roll a single dice that was rolled as either a single dice roll, a multiple dice roll, or a dice pool. Though this cannot be a dice that was rolled as part of an armor roll, injury roll, or casualty roll. So basically, he gets a free re-roll in each half. So that's 2 free re-rolls just for him, but it could be really useful. It might be on his a block that he's done. It could be to a crucial throw teammate. So really, really useful, and definitely something that I think is a huge benefit. So that's getting an up. Before I go on to his cost, I do want to give him a down, and that is because he doesn't have a combat skill. It's not a major down for him because he's got such high strength that you've got a good chance of doing 3-die blocks. And when you can't do a 3-die block or a 2-die block where it's not crucial, you can just use him in other ways, you know, as somebody to soak up tackle zones or to throw a teammate. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to use him for blocking every single turn. So it's not mage down, but I do think it's important to state that that's where players like Morg and Varag and Thark have it over him, that he doesn't have a combat skill. So he is susceptible to the both downs and skulls. On to his cost. Now, I can't remember his cost in the last game because I never had his card. I think he was in an almanac, so I couldn't check it. I think it's more or less what it was. Maybe a bit cheaper. But I'm giving it another up. Because actually, he for what he gives, for even at 250,000, I think it's a bargain compared to... Morgie's a lot more expensive, and yes, Morgie's more agile, he's got block, he's movement, he moves quicker, and he's got some cool special rules of his own, but he's not Mighty Blow +2 anymore. And I think for 250,000 you're getting a real bargain with Ripper. So there you go. Ripper Bolgrot has come out at an amazing +10. I was not expecting him to score that well when I started doing this. I thought Ripper had a chance for S tier, but I didn't expect him to be +5 better than the next best that we've done so far. So yes, as you can see, Ripper goes straight into S tier. I do believe he's an S tier star player. You can do your builds around him at tournaments and you'd be doing well. Yeah, and it makes me feel better about Bomber now because I do think he is a tier ahead of Bomber. Maybe it's more Black Gobbo who perhaps should come down to B. But like I said at the beginning when I did this, I'm doing pros and cons, and they're going to fall where they do. And yeah, you might be surprised. I might surprise myself while I'm doing this as to where players end up. I feel a bit bad for Barrack now because he's well and truly at the bottom. But it doesn't help. I keep picking out good star players to do. I'll have to see if I'm signposting that now. The next one that comes up, you'll be like, oh, they're maybe not so good. But we'll see. I'll either go back to the alphabetical order or I might just dip in perhaps to the book and have a look at another one out of the book. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. for more of these Star Player videos as we build up our tier list. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye for now.